Hi, I'm Allison the Crocheter.
And I'm Vivian the Knitter. And you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Hello and welcome to episode 100 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is a knitting and crochet podcast hosted by me and my mom, Vivian. I'm recording from my home here in Edinburgh.
And I'm recording from my home in Michigan. I had to think about that. 100!
Hey everyone, it's episode 100! We made it! So it's 100 episodes and 5 years later. We're still doing this.
Wow, 5 years.
Can you believe it?
No, it's gone by really fast.
Can't believe it. Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
And this has been specially planned, coordinated by you, that our 100th episode would fall exactly 5 years, like on our 5-year anniversary of podcasting. And we had to, I think you decided you wanted to do this like a year ago. Because you kind of were thinking about it. You're like, oh, I think it's about 100 episodes in 5 years. And so you did the math and you figured out how many episodes we had to do every month, because we normally aim for 2 episodes, but sometimes we'll do 1 episode. So you had to figure it out, and you did it.
Yeah,
100 episodes.
We did it. Yay! 5 years. And how many locations for me? 4. Well, and then if you count New Jersey, that would have been 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've done like special locations, like because like you've been here when we recorded.
That's true.
We've been in Florida and recorded. So, but in terms of
me by
like,
myself,
your home base,
yeah. But 5 years, it's so exciting.
I'm wearing my jazzy little celebratory earrings.
Oh, very nice. Handmade. You made them?
Yeah, they're polymer clay, and then I made the little tassel at the bottom as well, little gold tassel.
Very cool.
Gold for celebrating. But yeah, so thanks for joining us. If you're a new listener, thank you, and if you've been here all along for 5 years, thank you as well. And speaking of thank yous, we do have a special thank you.
Yes, Maureen from Hudson Valley, New York, and her Ravelry name is Spooky Lilby, and she learned to knit as a kid, but never really got started until she was an adult. And she says that, what does she say? I don't have my glasses on.
She struggled reading patterns, but then discovered video tutorials, which felt like a game changer. And that she appreciates how we make even a beginner feel welcome. So that was nice. And I think it's definitely, I think we're approachable because we keep it real and aren't afraid to tell people about our mistakes and our struggles, even though we're totally experts, but also at the same time not.
Exactly. So welcome to our little group, and thank you for saying hello.
Yeah, hi Maureen. And a fellow Hufflepuff.
Oh yeah, can't forget that Hufflepuff. Which I'm not. Hi from the future.
Hi. We made a little mistake when we pulled the winners on our first go of recording, so this is take 2. But we've got to announce the winners for our 5-year podiversary giveaway / 100th episode. Mostly 5 years.
Yeah. Do you have yours ready?
Oh yeah. The winner gets either this lot of yarn or that lot of yarn.
Or mine, yeah. So if you're closer to the US, you'll get this one. And if you're closer to the UK, you'll get that one.
This one. They're quite similar. I think that one, yours has a bit of the blue, which actually matches the blue of the mug. But they're the crazy no two are alike yarn that we got at Spun when we were in Michigan together. And so yeah, they are unique but very plushy. Very nice.
Yes. So hopefully somebody from the UK or Europe will be the winner, so I get to keep this one.
No, I want to keep this one. I don't know what to do, but yeah. So yeah, somebody will get the yarn and a mug. And so that was people who they took our Are You It Vivian or Allison Buzzfeed quiz, and let us know their results on either Instagram or YouTube, and then a few people got a bonus entry by reviewing the podcast and sending us an email. So we've got 59 entries. So my mom will do a random number generator 1 to 59, and I've got the list.
Drum roll. We got number 9.
Number 9. Yeah. An early one. So that is an Instagram winner, M Holden 86. She is an Allison and she crochets. Ta-da!
Yay! Congratulations!
So congrats. We'll get in touch with you on Instagram since that's how you entered, and get your address so we can get you your prize.
You don't know which one it is, right?
Yeah, no, not yet. But now back to the actual show.
Yep.
Congrats again. Congratulations to everybody who entered the competition.
Yep.
And 5 years, which means from now on out we're working towards 6 years. 6 years. That's so weird.
We are in our 6th year because yesterday was our official podiversary, the day that the contest, the giveaway ended, the last day anyway.
I see. I am kind of just surprised in a good way that we're still doing it 5 years later, just because I find it sometimes hard to commit to projects. Like, I've done other video-based projects, like in high school on YouTube, which is how I met some of my friends. But we didn't stick with it for very long. But now I've got my mom to do it, so it's like, can't disappoint her.
Not just that, but
and I'm having fun.
We egg each other on too, and we're also like, so when I'm like, you will encourage me, and if you're feeling that way, I'll encourage you, and it's been a wonderful adventure so far, and hopefully it'll get even better.
Cool. Right. So will we talk about our whips? The crafty content?
Yes, what everybody's here for, right? Let's see. Why don't you go ahead, because I'm not sure where I put mine. Oh, here it is.
Okay. Well, I don't really have any good crochet whips to talk about at the moment, but I will just share this as a work in progress because it's like a continual work in progress. You will know this sweater very well. So this is a cream-colored cashmere sweater. It's so soft. This was
a thrift store find.
I don't think it was a thrift store find. I think so. I got it off my sister Emily, but I think she got it. Did she not get it at Walnut Hill?
No. I think she got it at a thrift store because they went thrifting in Boston.
Okay. Well, anyways, no idea what the brand is. The tag's been cut out of it. Which, to be fair, then I don't actually know how I know it's cashmere, but it definitely feels like it.
I think the tag was on there at one point, and Emily cut it off because it was bothering her.
Okay. Well, it's very soft. Like, I wear it all the time. It doesn't really pill. It's lovely, but it's got holes, and you fixed some of the holes, and some of your fixing is still there. But as it's developed more holes, I've practiced my darning skills. So I've got some patches down here of some duplicate stitches on worn areas and some actual weaving bits here. And so yesterday I went over it again to fix some more spots. Oh, actually, wait, here's another spot that both of the armpits had holes. So I've got these colorful armpits. But yeah, so yesterday I basically spent all day doing this on the sleeve. There's a big patch of a woven.
You didn't use the thing that I gave you, did you?
No, I didn't use that just because everything else that I've done. Because so with the mini loom thing, you have to kind of tack on or sew on some of the edges. So you kind of create a patch and it's attached on one end, but then you have to attach it. Whereas when I've been doing these, it's kind of been what's the word? Blended into the fabric a bit more.
I see. Yeah.
So I just wanted to keep it consistent for this particular piece. So yeah, this actually this took me hours. I was gonna do it just until noon, and then go on to something else. Next thing I knew, it was 5 o'clock, and I had to go eat somewhere, so I had to stop. So I'm just imagining like people in the olden days when they used to actually, fix things and mend things, and just old ladies, sat at home doing things like this, and why it would take forever. Um, but I used this yarn, which I can't remember.
It looks like one of the ones I gave. You know?
No, this I used in my. I don't know now. I'm sure that sort of fadey shawl that I have? I think I bought it for that, but ended up not using it.
Oh, I see. Because I was gonna say I don't remember any of your works with that in it, and it looks like something
But
that
yeah,
would have come out of my stash.
But yeah, it's like very bluey, and I think because I used it. My fadey shawl has like a mint color in it, so I think because this kind of goes from the blues to, and there's like a sort of a mint green in it.
I see.
And there's also like speckles of other colors. But so yeah, this is a really big bit on the sleeve. I discovered the hole. The hole was probably about the size of a nickel. And I started fixing it one way. I was doing like Swiss darning, so it actually like looked like the little V, like it was knit. But for some reason, actually not for some reason, I was doing it and it was just too dark. Half of it looked really neat and tidy, and half of it didn't, and that really annoyed me. If it had all looked a little crap, it would have been okay. But the fact that like half of it looked crap and half of it looked really nice, I was annoyed. So I was picking it out, and in picking it out, I ended up making the hole like bigger / added holes. So you can see the holes in the back side.
Yeah.
So that's like the original hole, and then I got like these subsidiary holes.
So pretty soon you're gonna have more patch than sweater.
I know Sam tells me that I should get rid of the jumper, but what I said is there's still more sweater than darning. So I also like fixed up
on the
cuff.
edges,
the edge of the cuff, and then a little bit of the neckline. It's really light colored, but there's like a little bit of a pink, but because like where it's been, I don't know how it works, but it was fine, I think. But I just kind of reinforced bits so it looked like it was starting to lift off. But yeah, pretty much all the holes are in the front though. That's the front.
Just because you snag it on things and stuff when
probably it. So that's the back, and there's just that single one that I did that one yesterday as well.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just such a comfy sweater, and I know you knitted me a really nice sweater to kind of like not replace this one, but kind of replace this one. So if I'm actually like gonna be out in public and stuff, then I wear that one. This is my inside one. Or sometimes I wear, sometimes I wear this underneath sweaters if it's really cold.
Yeah, it's definitely cold enough to wear 2 sweaters here. It's been in the teens. Oh, we did have one day where it was almost 40, and then the very next day it was in the 20s. So yeah, I have definitely been wearing my hand knits, which is a good thing, right? So my whips, talk about making mistakes.
That was like a weird evil laugh.
So I started. Oh, why can't I get into my notes? I started the Leni hat by Isabel Kramer, and I started this hat right before the wedding, and so I don't have anything to show for it, but it is done with a tubular cast on, and so anyway, so so you do 1x1 ribbing, and then you do stockinette, but you keep the small needles, because usually you cast on a smaller needle for hats, and then you do the tubular thing. So I didn't like the way it looked, because it was really like, it was like this high. It was like, like 2 inches, and it wasn't like a tubular cast on where you start with a small piece and then you pick up the stitches from below and then it becomes bigger. It was it was just anyway, I didn't like the way it looked when you brought the stitches in the back and then you do knit two together all the way around. There was like this little hump, and I don't know what, I just didn't like the way it looked. Maybe it was because I did too many rows of stockinette before I started doing the knit two togethers or something. I'm not sure, but I do have a picture of it because I did take a picture before we left, because I was doing this when we were still in Florida. So this is, and I got pretty far before I finally decided, no, that's not the right picture. Before I finally decided that I didn't want to do it that way. Here. Oh, there's glare. Here. Oh, can you see? There it is. So you can kind of see that there's like this little lump, and I just didn't like the way it looked. So I tore back down, and then I had it so that the 1x1 ribbing part was in the front. And that's the way it looked. I still didn't like it. And I ended up tearing the whole thing down. And then I did a more traditional tubular cast on. And I practically finished the hat. Here's the tubular cast on. But then,
so is that just a regular? It's not like folded under.
No, it's not folded
over.
Under. The fold is just.
What's the point of doing that?
It's right here. There's like a little bit of a fold right here. What's the point of doing a tubular?
What's the point of folding the whole brim?
More warmth, maybe.
Rib.
More warmth. I don't know.
But only in that one area.
But anyway, so then, and then I finally realized the reason why she had the tubular cast on the way she had it, where it was stockinette in the front side and 2x2 in the inside, was because this looks weird so close to the edge, this design. Because then when you finish the hat, it's like the design is just along the brim and then there's nothing up here. And I actually finished the whole hat and I looked at it, but I didn't cut the yarn or anything. Like before you feed it through the top hole, I was looking at it and I like, no, I don't like this.
So it's like, the actual design, like they look like pine trees, sort of.
Yeah, and then it's got like a little tiny little bobbles at the top, and then they're done with slip stitching, and then you slip this like 5 stitches with the yarn in front of you, and then like a few rows up, you grab that loose yarn and then you knit it together. So that creates those little triangle things, or the little V, upside down V's, or the A's, whatever. And then at the top of it, you do this tiny little bobble. So they are very sweet. And I realized that I didn't like the way it was so close to the brim, and it's a lovely pattern. I just wasn't doing it right. So I ended up just ripping the whole thing out and completely frogging it. And I said, you know what? I'll do it the way the pattern calls for, and hopefully do it the right way next time. But in the meantime, I didn't want to look at it anymore. So I started a new hat.
Right.
A different hat. And this one is called the Firefall toque by Amy Christophers. And it's in one of my old interweave magazines. It's not quite old enough to be a archive cowl because it came out in the fall of 2019. Right? So that's not quite 3 years. So I'm using the same yarn, and it is 3 Irish Girls Spring Veil, and it's a DK weight. And this is done. This just has a lot of cables, an interesting cable pattern. And so this is and it's got cable patterning where, let me see if I can open it up, where there isn't a rest row. So you can't, because for instance, the folklore sweater that I made earlier this year, you do the cables and then the next row you just purl back. That was back and forth, and then if it was around you would knit. So there aren't any rest rows. So I really have to pay attention, and so it's not something that I can do at knit group or anything. And this is what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
So there's like small cables, like in like it almost looks like there's like little braids in the big braid of the
yeah.
cable.
So there's like it's they're not thick cables. They're just like skinny little cables.
Cool.
So so that's what I'm currently working on, and I haven't actually worked on it for a week because I've been doing other things. And my last whip is my, why do I always forget the name of this sweater? Winston. And it's like, 'cause I know it's a name, like a man's name, but I just can't. Okay, so I've done quite a lot since the last time we spoke.
Wow.
So this is it's a oversized sweater for sure. So I have I don't know, is this the yoke or this the back of the back part and the sleeves? So the stripes, that freak gauge where I do every other row is a different needle. It's like size 0s and size 7, and so that, and then the sleeves, it's like, I don't know, 3/4 of the sleeves, and then the rest of the sleeves is done picked up stitches and with a rib. And yeah, so this will take a long time because it's really big.
Is it? It's not a cardigan, is it?
Yeah, it's a cardigan. It's an open cardigan.
Oh, it is a cardigan. Okay.
And it's it's got like the bottom of the edge of the cardigan is rounded. Oh, sorry. Open. Oh, that's not the one I was looking for. But anyway, yeah, so it's there's a lot of decreases at this point because you start out I have no words.
Words fail her.
Because you pick up, you're knitting the back, and then you have to pick up the stitches in the front along that stripe thingy along the sleeve. And so it's, I guess it is like bat wings, like you were saying before. So that's how, so it's super, super wide, and then you're doing all these decreases. So I'm still decreasing. I think you decrease until like you're done with the sweater. You never stop decreasing.
Like a funnel.
Yeah. So anyway, this is going along pretty well, and I really like the colors, and the yarn's got a bit of cashmere in it.
So, so it's a dark. You've got charcoal for the body, but what color are the?
Well, it's actually like a navy. Is it a charcoal? More like a navy, or a really, really dark navy.
Oh,
and then the stripes.
What color are your stripes? Because I can definitely see the yellowy.
There's like a mustard and a gray and an even lighter gray. I don't know why. I mean, the ones I picked, there's not too much of a contrast, so you can tell a little bit in the picture. And then there's this teal at the very end.
Yeah, okay, I can see the teal. Yeah.
When I pull it out like this, you can see the colors. So I mean, the mustard is not quite, something I usually wear, but it looks good with the colors.
Only a little bit of it.
Yeah, there's only a little bit of it, and it looks good with the colors. There's nice contrast. Yeah, and there's, I don't know, like 500 stitches or something like that on. A lot of stitches that I have to decrease. So those are all my whips.
Cool. Will we do our Buzzfeed quiz then?
Yes, let's do our Buzzfeed.
So the Buzzfeed quiz is, everyone is exactly like one of these dystopian movie women. Here's your match.
Another one of those long-winded titles. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 options for each question, so there must be like
a lot of
10 results. Yeah. Who did you get?
I got Caroline Aranha from Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I've never seen that movie.
Well, what does it
It
say?
says, you love nature and truly have a passion for animals. You see pets as family, which is true, and you have respect for all nature and life on this planet. You think it's important to teach others to respect it as well.
I got Cressida from the Hunger Games.
Which one is that
And
one?
it says it says you have a creative mind. You know the power that can come from not only words, but from images as well. You're always able to bring your vision to light. We hope to shape the world with your work. That actually, like, I was just thinking, like, like with the magazine.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's not in the first books, I don't think.
Was she in the movies?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the picture is the picture of the actress who played Anne Boleyn in
Natalie
in
and Natalie something.
oh
Dormer,
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first movie and then the last few movies. I've never actually sat down and watched them. Just saw bits and pieces of it. Because your dad loves these young adult dystopian movies. He loves them. Yeah. So he's always watching them. Hunger Games, Twilight. What's the other one? The one with the maze. The Maze Runner.
Maze Runner.
Like when they're on, he will watch it, and he'll watch them over and over and over. Like whenever he doesn't like purposely, stream it or anything. Yeah. But if it's on, TV on TNT or one of those cable channels,
I'll happily leave it there.
Just like he'll just watch it. It's like, why are we watching this again?
I think Cressida. She must have. I'm sure there was like the whole like District 13 and like.
Didn't you read the books?
Their like propaganda campaign. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's. In the book somewhere, yeah, they're back there.
Yeah, Madeline was really into the books when they came out, and she was, I mean, she was still in middle school, or.
I mean, I read the
something,
the newest book as well. That's sort of
there's a newest book.
Prequel, yeah, the ballad of something. I don't know, but it was about President Snow as a kid.
And the kid,
so it's like
there's a kid.
As a kid,
I see.
Like when he was a kid. So it's set before the events of the Hunger Games. It's at the beginning of the invention of the Hunger Games, sort of thing. Early days of the Hunger Games. Anyway, so question-wise, we don't have to go through them all because there's so many options. But I would like to know. Okay, obviously, what meal you picked because food.
They had some really good options.
Yeah, I'll rattle them off so people know. We had option between ramen, quinoa bowl, sushi, fettuccine, spinach and berry salad, full roast dinner, lobster risotto, vegan curry, stew, and pizza.
I mean, I definitely will eat any of those on any given day. And excuse me. I kind of vacillated between the ramen and the sushi.
I could have guessed that.
So I ended up picking the sushi because I was in a sushi mood when I took the quiz.
The first time I took the quiz, I picked ramen, but I just had ramen while I was in London. So then I was like, ooh, okay, sushi. And then I thought, it's kind of cold. I don't know if I want sushi, so I went for the fettuccine.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
Pasta.
That looks good. Especially if it's like fresh pasta. And, I'd have to take that with like a whole bottle of Lactaid. All the cream in there. But yeah, the full roast dinner looked good. Even the vegan curry looked good. And I love pizza, so. Alrighty, now I'm getting hungry.
What about? I thought the vacations they picked, the options for vacations were very
unusual.
Unusual, yeah. Because so it was getting a behind-the-scenes tour of a Broadway show, diving in Saba, going on an archaeological tour of Cyprus, rock climbing in Tibet, visiting the Museum of Memory and Human Rights in Santiago, Chile, touring CERN in Switzerland, bungee jumping in Queenstown, New Zealand, taking cooking lessons in Tunis, Tunisia, seeing turtles and monkeys in French Guiana, or going to Hong Kong Disneyland. Cool.
Can you get so yeah, there's a lot of different options. They all sound very interesting, except for the bungee jumping. Though I would love to go to New Zealand.
Just go to New Zealand,
without the bungee jumping. But I picked seeing the turtles and monkeys in French Guiana.
What do you reckon I picked?
Going to Hong Kong Disneyland.
I almost did, but I did the archaeological tour of Cyprus.
That was one that I was considering too. Because I've never been there, and look at those waters. Those turquoise waters.
Yeah, I think part of it was like the water. I was like, ooh, yeah. Somewhere warm. Okay.
Though I kind of misread it. I thought it was going there as like an on the archaeological team, like doing the actual digging part.
Working.
I'm like, I don't want to dig. I don't want to in the sun and so okie dokie.
Cool.
So I don't really know who my result is, and I don't really know what your result is either, because I didn't.
Yeah, but the descriptions were fun.
Yeah, I do love animals. Okie dokie. Yes.
FOs.
FOs.
I got one.
You got one.
Yeah, I got my socks.
Oh, look at those. Oh, they look so cute. And this is the Shepherdess socks?
Shepherdess socks, yeah, by Elizabeth Lopez Rodriguez, which is in the first issue of Morat. And yeah, all done. So basically, they're a little bit tight on me, and partly because so I don't know if maybe the yarn I picked wasn't like quite the right yardage, or whatever. So basically, I made the biggest size, even though my feet aren't the biggest size, but that was just based off of the gauge I was getting, because that gauge would get me basically the right size. But I think I probably should have made them a little bit bigger again, even because I got wide feet, because they are really stretchy lengthwise, but that doesn't necessarily help with the wide feet thing. But they do fit, so I can get them on. I'm very happy with them. The yarn is the Modim
that you got in Portugal.
I don't know.
Right?
Well, I didn't get it in Portugal, but it's Portuguese yarn.
Oh, you got it in. Don't tell me.
I bought it
in Spain. Then no, where'd you get
it? I bought it online.
Oh, that's not the one where you went to a store somewhere when you were traveling.
No.
Okay,
nope.
Never mind.
I just bought these online because I like the color, and then I don't know. I've got three skeins, and I didn't know what to do with them. And I think with the slip stitch, there's not so much worry of color pooling and stuff. So the stripes are pretty evenly distributed, and you don't get because it goes from that a sort of undyed natural color, and then pink and blue and black, like a dirty cotton candy. Yeah, I was wearing them earlier, but then I had to take them off so I could show them.
Okay. So, is that your only FO?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of cotton candy, remember those cotton candy socks? Those were your favorite, the ones I made for you a long time ago when you were still in college, I think. I don't know. I started them when you were still in college. I don't know if I actually gave them to you when you're... So, I finished my purse socks. These are, I think I call them purse socks number 9, just because I have lots of purse socks. And anyway.
Are those the ones that you thought you lost one of them?
Yeah.
And then I
found it. So we haven't said anything on the let me take my glasses off. On the podcast that I found them. They were in my car. They were under the seat on the passenger side.
Yeah.
And we were driving from Boston to New Jersey, and you were the passenger, and you found them. I was like, oh, The only place I didn't look was in my own car. So, because I forgot that your father was in New Jersey for one weekend. And so that was the only time I was like a passenger in my own car. All the other times I was passengers. If I was a passenger, it would be in a different car. So I was looking in all the different cars, but my own. So anyway, so this is the same. What was it? The color, Dream in Color, smushy, smooth, smushy. That we got yarn that we got in Florida. I made you a pair already, and I had enough. I thought I could make shorter socks for myself with different yarn for the heels, cuff, and toes. But then I ran out of the main color. So I had to use a little bit of this cotton candy. I'm calling it cotton candy yarn that I have in my bucket up there of the balls of leftovers. So
and you ran out of the contrast color too?
No, the contrast is the same.
But could you not have just made it like a bigger toe?
I didn't want to. I could actually. I don't know that I would have had enough in the contrast to make a bigger toe.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. Yeah. So I just yeah. So it's straight, but it's okay because it'll be in my shoe, and you really can't see that little bit of pink and blue with the rest of the blue and green.
True. Yeah.
So when
whatever, yeah, I like it. It's a good little just like.
And I use my new sock blockers from Spun. So that's that.
Very good.
And this is not quite an FO, but it is an FO because I finished it last time. But I did the thumb holes on the Vintersol.
Like I suggested.
Like you suggested, yeah. But I did each sleeve like twice.
Oh.
So Maureen, we're constantly making mistakes, and I'm constantly fessing up to my mistakes. So I ripped the cuff down, and it was kind of late at night. It must have been. I mean, I started ripping it at 9:00, and then I continued, and I was watching The Witcher. While I was doing it.
Wait. So I assume Verna I said it was okay. Like she was okay with the thumb hole idea, or are you just doing it?
I told her after the fact, and I said, if you hate it, I can always, I can take it back, and then I have plenty of yarn.
Yeah.
So I started with a thumb hole, and then I looked at it. It's like, oh shoot, it's on the wrong side. It should be on the other side.
Yeah, because your thumbs are on a specific side of your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I finished it, start binding off. I think I actually bound off. And then I looked at it again, but then the thumb hole was on the wrong side. So I was right the first time. Because I was sticking it in. Because I can't wear the sweater. It's too tight for me. But I was sticking it in through the neck. And so because of that, my thumb was aligned with like the shoulder seam.
But your thumb is aligned with the shoulder seam.
But when you put it on, it's actually along when you put on the sweater, it has to be along the armpit seam.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking about it because if you do it like that, so it's like along your shoulder. If I hold that, but then move my arm, then I've twisted the sleeve. Because normally, I guess you wouldn't have your hand that way. You'd have it like kind of that way.
Yeah. Unless that's still wrong.
So you'd either want it. I don't know. Would you want it on the side, like not on a like?
Well, I took out I have this yoga shirt, and it's got a thumb hole, and it's on the armpit seam.
Okay, yeah, maybe that does. I think probably make more sense. Maybe
because when you're holding your arms relaxed, your thumb is pointing towards your body, and that's where the arm.
Is it though? I think it just depends. I don't think it'll matter that much. Maybe it doesn't matter.
So basically, I knit it like 2.5 times. the first sleeve.
Just the cuff, though.
Just the cuff, the first sleeve. So then the second sleeve, I started it. I did make sure that it was along the armpit seam.
You just do them different for both ones.
But then I must have pulled back too many rows because the thumb hole was like right up against the colorwork down here. And then on the other side, I was like, I'm just going to leave it. But then the more I looked at it, the more it just looked wrong. So like, God damn it. So I had to, so I really did knit this one twice. So I knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 cuffs.
Cuffs. For one sweater.
For one sweater.
Gosh.
So, okay.
Now I know where I get it from.
Or don't start things at 9 o'clock when you're watching The Witcher.
Yeah.
Or when you're you get into a anyway. So that's that. So now it's a complete FO, and I can send it to my sister, but I had to wait until we talked about it. And I have so much yarn left over that I was able to make a hat out of the same yarn.
Yeah, nice.
So this is by Tin Can Knits, and it's actually more of a hat recipe than a pattern. So she's got different gauges for hats and cowls. I think there's something else. And I just kind of just picked one, and she had like she had fingering, DK, and Aran weight. And I think this yarn, it's a worsted weight, so it's closer to an Aran weight, but I didn't really like her numbers, so I did a hat that was in the DK weight, numbers wise. And and I did do a tubular cast on. I don't know if you can tell.
Right, for
the stretchiness. And
and it's kind of
it's just random Fair Isle patterns.
No, so because like the little circles will look like coins.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Isn't it called coins or something like that?
And then there's like little like triangles, diamonds.
Yeah, and I think I did the decrease a little differently.
You didn't try and make it like a matching hat with like the same pattern as the sweater?
I thought about that, but then I was like, I guess there's too much math. But she did the math for me already, so I just had to follow her her recipe. So this is a free pattern. That's a lot of work for, but I think she's got. I think is the sweater maybe not free, but I don't know. Bad podcaster. I didn't actually look into that.
Bad podcaster.
5 years of this, people. But I like the way the top, it goes to like a 3-pointed. Not 3-pointed. 6. I can't do math. 6-pointed something or other.
You can't even do counting.
No, I can't.
Let alone apparently.
So, and I have another FO. Final FO.
Oh my gosh, you've been busy.
Yes and no. Okay, let me take this off my lap. The final FO was something I was practically done with last time, and I almost forgot that to put this in the notes because I finished it so early. This is my Pluck cowl.
Yeah.
It's
like a
Stephanie Lottman.
It's like a cowl / mini poncho, mini front-sided poncho, because there's no back side.
Yeah, the back looks like. And it's like a little shoulder warmer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it goes quite far in, doesn't it? It covers your boobs almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah. Nice. It definitely looks nicer now that it's like all blocked and stuff and like
not all like crammed into the needle. Because towards the end it was like all like crowded onto the needle because I was doing it in the round. So yeah.
I mean that's actually like a really convenient shape for like because I'm imagining like especially like if you got a coat on and then you like zip up And then, yeah, it just covers exactly that sort of V that's sometimes exposed in your coat, especially if maybe you have like a pea coat or something.
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't
you
go
can,
up all the way to your neck.
and it's loose up here, so if you're really cold, you can fold it over.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
yeah. So this is a for me anyway. It's a good option rather than a shawl, because I'm always like the ends of my shawls are still always like going all over the place. And then if you're wearing in the wintertime, like with the coat, and then it's so bulky, and I never know what to do. And or either it's like all wrapped around my neck, or I've got one end like dangling down there, and I'm stepping on it because I don't notice that it
Yeah.
slipped. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so this is a pretty cool option. I think I'm gonna look for more, like poncho type things, or cowl
Mm.
/ poncho things.
Yeah, because you do have that sort of poncho thing that you made as well.
Yeah,
last
that I
time,
wear.
which I borrowed while I was staying.
Yeah, I wear that mostly inside.
Mm. Yeah. Nice.
So yeah,
Very good.
that's lots of knitting for me.
I've got some yarny bits and
Oh,
bobs.
you do? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Bob away.
So I went to London for Sam's birthday. And despite the fact that it was literally on his birthday day, we did 2 yarny things. Yeah. He was very good at that. So we went to the Craft Council Gallery in London. And the reason we went was that Lorna Hamilton Brown, who helped out, well, I met her through working on BIPOC and Fiber.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of 5 artists who was commissioned to do some pieces for this exhibit called We Gather, and they were 5 artists who were all Black or Asian, British.
Mm-hmm.
I think British. Actually, not sure now that I say that. And yeah, so Lorna, she does most of her art is sort of textile based, so machine knitting, and there was even one Tunisian crochet piece that she had in there. So that was, yeah, really, really nice. And I would definitely recommend it's like on for free in London. So she had some machine knit panels, and then she had a machine knit sort of like knitting magazine cover of her own sort of invention that was very like symbolic of various things. And then the piece that I really enjoyed was called, oh crap, what was it called? It was also machine knit, and it was commissioned as part of a series that Felix Knit Sonic was working on, where she's sort of,
and I met both of them,
converting music to knitted pieces. And so they did that by using the punch cards for the knitting machines, and like kind of finding ways to transcribe the music into the punch cards, and then using the punch cards to make the knitted piece. And so it was this sort of like lace and cabled blue panel of the machine knit, and then it was like sort of suspended, hung, and then there was another panel hung in front of it and a little bit above, but that one was done in like a sort of translucent, sort of sparkly yarn, so you could see the blue panel behind it.
Did you put that on? Did you post that on Instagram? I don't remember that piece.
I think I did a story.
Okay.
On the Morit Instagram with some of the photos that I had taken. I would show you, except that they're on my phone and I'm recording on my phone, so I can't actually show you any pictures, but I can put them like in
the screen,
show notes / on the screen. Yeah. But yeah, so they were just really beautiful. But as part of the exhibit, all of the artists had various things from their own like collections of whatever, whether that was tools from their studio displayed. So Lorna also collects antique knitting tools and things. So there was some of that, and then they also had, because like she did the magazine cover, the machine knit magazine cover, she had bits from her collection of knitting and crochet magazines featuring BIPOC creators. So she had a copy of Morit there, and it was displayed in the gallery, which was a lot of fun. As well as one of the knitting magazines had done an interview with Jeanette about like BIPOC and Fiber and stuff, so that was also there. So I saw Jeanette's face, And the piece was called Women Blue Elevate. Yeah, the blue one in the John Arbin yarn.
Cool.
So that was the first yarny thing we did, and then the second yarny thing we did was go to Loop, London, to do some yarn shopping. And this actually kind of ties into something that we wanted to announce, which is the archive cal. You've already mentioned it, actually.
I guess I have.
Yeah, sort of in passing. But yeah, we're going to do the archive cal again this year.
Yay!
Do you want to explain what it is for anybody who hasn't participated before?
So the archive cal, for our new listeners and viewers, it's KCAL, knit and crochet along. And you have to go into your archive, your library, and pick a pattern that you've had for 3 years or longer. And if you haven't been knitting quite that or crocheting quite that long, then just pick something a pattern that is over 3 years old. And
or
right,
as old as whatever. No, if you haven't been knitting or crocheting for 3 years, then just pick something that maybe you have had your eye on since when you first started or something.
So so that's basically it. And then we'll have the KCAL will go for 3 months. And okay, go tell us why we're talking about this.
but yeah, so we'll start March 1st and go until the end of May. And yeah, that could be patterns that you favorited or actually bought more than 3 years ago, whatever. So I went to the yarn store, and my plan is to make this shawl called Meg's Wrap by Julie Blagojevic. Here. But it's a big triangular shawl that's like got different two stripes going in different directions. Like it kind of looks like a field. Like a farmed field with like the little plowed lines and going in different directions.
It's called Meg's shawl.
Meg's Wrap.
Meg's Wrap.
MEG, like the name, like Meg is a person and this is her wrap. But yeah, it uses a lace weight yarn. So there's plenty of lace weight yarns to choose from at Loop, but lots of this like really nice hand-dyed stuff. But it uses quite a lot of yarn, so I could have spent a decent amount of money, but I was feeling pressure because I was like, oh, it'd be really nice to use like, at least one of the yarns be a little bit variegated or whatever instead of just solid. But I just couldn't decide, and it was just a lot of pressure just for myself. I was like, how long have I been staring at this yarn? Finally, that's the shawl. This sort of strips. I realized. No, I think part of the problem also was that the yarn that was recommended, even though it's a lace weight yarn, it wasn't as thin as the lace weight yarns that I was seeing in the shop. But then I realized the shop had the exact yarn that the pattern uses, which is this is the brand, but I cannot pronounce. Danish. Isager.
How many times are you gonna try to pronounce this?
I don't know. But yeah, the actual yarn, it's called Spinny, and it's 100% new wool. So it's a little bit rustic. It's like
it's hard to tell on the screen that it's actually a lace weight.
Yeah, so it's 300 meters per 50 grams. I think some of the other ones I was seeing were like 400 meters, so like 800 per 100. 800 meters per 100 grams. But this one's 600 meters per 100 grams. So I think it's more like a heavy lace weight, maybe?
Or light fingering? No? I don't know.
Maybe.
Something in
the middle. So yeah, so I went with these colors. So I've got like it might be hard to see, but this light color is a kind
like
of
a pearl,
gray lavender.
Oh.
Or yeah, it's a little bit bluier than the jumper that I'm wearing, I guess. But yeah, it's a sort of more purpley than just like gray. And then a dark gray, which is more like on a blue, a slatey blue gray. And then this mustardy color that Sam hates.
That what? Oh, that Sam hates.
He does not like this color. This mustard.
It looks very similar to what the colors of the.
Yeah, it does.
My sweater.
Your Winston.
Winston, not Max. Yeah, it looks very similar to the colors that I'm knitting with.
Yeah, so I've got 2 skeins of each, and they're very kind because I picked out the purple first as something that I wanted to use, and then the mustard, which I feel like is not like a particularly usual, like standard or expected combination. So I wanted something like sort of more neutral to go with it, and I could only find one of this particular gray. There were some other dark colors, but they were more like blue, like they felt more like a dark navy than just like a gray. And so I went online because they have like you can buy online, and online it said that there was 2 skeins of this colorway. So I was just like, am I just not seeing it? And yeah, I spoke to the owner, Susan, and she got somebody to go look in the stock room, and they did have it. So luckily, yeah, I got the exact color that I wanted. And they also happened to stock more, so I got to see more on the shelves.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's my yarny bits and bobs and my plan for the cowl. Although I might change my mind because I was trying to find the Meg's wrap pattern. And as I was going through my
your archive
old favorites, there was some other shawls. I was like, oh, I want to make those too. But I mean, I probably should just stick with this one because I have the exact yarn that it calls for. It makes sense.
So the pattern's not something that you had in your library. It's just an old favorite, correct?
Yeah. So I haven't bought the pattern, but it's been in my favorites for over 3 years now.
So I'm not going to be that ambitious, and I'm not going to pick anything super big. So I'm hoping maybe to do at least 2 projects for the archive cowl. And the first one I'm going to do, I think, unless I change my mind, is called the I don't know. And it's a hat.
Oh. There's a venue that's an old church near me that has that same name, and I've looked up how to pronounce it, and I can't remember
now. It doesn't explain the name. So this is from the Wool Tribe booklet that you got for me in 2017 when you went to EYF for the first time. So I've had it for that long. It says the hat is done in a variation of the herringbone stitch, and it doesn't look like, I was looking at the stitch instructions. It's not quite the same way I made the herringbone socks that I made for you. Also the pink cotton candy one. That was a herringbone, I remember. So I don't know. And the only thing I don't like about it, you can't see it from this picture, is that it's done flat and it's got a seam in the back. And the seam is done with, I think, with a 3 needle bind off, and it had with in the contrasting color, in the light color. So I think I'm gonna look at and see if it's possible to do it in the round, because I didn't really like the seam.
Yeah.
So that's an option, and I'm not sure about the other options yet. There's I actually have an archive bundle in my Ravelry.
Yeah.
And there's a few patterns in there, and they're mostly socks and hats, maybe a cowl, something like that. So
I feel like doing the archive cowl maybe should be incentive to just start favoriting
everything.
It's I gotta have, in 3 years time, I want lots of options.
You could do that, but
I just looked it up. I think it's pronounced troqueer. Literally was just listening to it, and now I've already forgotten. It's a village in Scotland. It's also there's a now it just sounds weird coming out of my mouth. There's a house with the same name, which is apparently Scotland's oldest inhabited house. Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably where the name comes from, because that is a Scottish publication. Because it's from Shetland Woolweek?
Yeah. Yep.
Traquair. That's what the woman just said in the video that I was listening to. Traquair.
So most of my other options for the archive cowl are stuff that's actually in my library, that's been in my libraries for more than 3 years. So I have a huge library of patterns.
So you've owned the pattern.
Yeah, because so that's why a lot of them came out of my magazines that I started subscribing in 2007 or something, and I only I think I only stopped subscribing it in 2019 or 2020, something like that. So there's a lot of patterns in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to use stash yarn too.
That's bonus points.
Except we don't get points. So if we did get points, then I would get bonus points for using stash yarn. That's longer than 3 years old, and I've got plenty of that.
But yeah, so anybody who wants to join along, feel free. Use this as a incentive to make something that you've been wanting to make for a while and just haven't gotten around to it. We're pretty lax when it comes to rules of engagement. You don't have to necessarily finish your project, because God knows I only ever finish a quarter of the projects I start for cows. Maybe if we were more strict, it would be more incentive to finish it. But always I'm pretty sure. Is my C2C Christmas blanket? I might have started that as part of an archive cowl.
I think so.
Maybe not.
Well, we only did the archive.
Been working on that for
cowl once. This is only the second time. Because we've done other cowls and other themes. Mm-hmm. So I think this is one that I'd like to stick to. I mean, it is an incentive to look in your back catalog and see what you have and because
rediscover.
Yeah, what things. I think in the beginning we try to do 5 years, but 5 years is too long, because what I like 5 years ago don't necessarily translate to what I like now. Especially, I think if you've only been knitting or crocheting for 5 years, what you liked 5 years ago, just skill wise, you may not want to do something so basic that you liked 5 years ago. Yeah. So there's a bit of that. I think that's it for Archive Cowl. So cast on March 1st, but we can still talk about it in our next episode. Mm-hmm. And I do have a small Nerdtastic and a shop talk. Okay. Outlander comes back on beginning of March. And the latest Outlander book came out in November. Oh, yeah. And I started listening to it. It's 50 hours long.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I'm about halfway. And it's called Don't Tell the Bees. Don't Tell the Bees something.
Are you 100% sure that's what it's called? It's your face and 100% sure.
It's called Don't Tell the Bees that I am gone. Sorry.
A long title.
Yeah, so I mean it's a lot of rambling around and stuff in the book, but I am enjoying it, and Davina Porter is just the best, and I totally see Jamie when she speaks in Jamie's voice.
She's the
narrator. And the
narrator.
Yeah, she does an excellent job.
It's funny, because you listen to audiobooks, that's just a whole genre of, I don't know, expertise. You just know things about, you know narrators by name. Oh yeah, you like that narrator, and they're doing this book. So you'll sometimes start listening to a book because you like the narrator.
Yeah, and that doesn't always necessarily it's not always a good
Work
thing.
out?
No, it doesn't always work out because I
Yeah.
remember I picked up a book from the like a physical audiobook from the library where you had to like rip the the
The
CDs
CDs.
CDs, yeah, to put it on your iPod, you know, back in the day. And, you know, it's I mean, it's a long process, you know, if there's like 10 discs, you got to like rip all 10 of them, put it in your iTunes and, you know, put it in your library and then transfer it onto your iPod and then start listening to it. It's like, you know, like you hear her voice and her voice is familiar and some of the voices are the same like for Jamie or Claire, but then
Yeah.
I listened to one that takes place in Scotland. So one guy definitely had Jamie's voice, you know, and it was the stupidest book. I could not get past like even the first chapter. I was like, oh my god, I can't. So I had to, you know, delete it and then like I returned it before my 3 weeks were up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shop talk. Unless you have
Mhm.
anything for Nerdtastic. No. Okay, I have shop talk. So it's been a long time since I had an actual shop talk. I've been sewing, and so I started sewing, you know, my traditional or whatever, my regular Emily bags, which are the sock size bags, and Allison bags.
This is for your Pearl and Plum shop.
That's right. The name of the shop is Pearl and Plum, and you can find me on Etsy. So the first 3 bags, 3 different fabrics I used, all cat themed.
Are they all cats?
All cat themed, and these are just favorites that a lot of my customers have loved, and I just remade it, and they're physically in the shop now, so they're ready to go for anybody that
I like
wants.
the knitting cats. I just like the illustration style.
Yeah, me too. This is a
for that one.
Dear Stella pattern, and I think this one of them is a Michael Miller. I can't remember. But I do like these little naughty kittens playing with yarn because I will let my cats play with my yarn, and your dad will be like, you know, the yarn's all over the floor. It's like, I know, I'm letting them play with it. I'll clean it up. So I've got in these 3 fabrics, I have both Emily size bags and Allison size bags, or Emily style bags and Allison style bags, and I started making some new Lillian bags, and I think I'm gonna call them Lily bags instead of Lillian because I also have my Jillian bags, which there aren't any in the shop, and it's just too confusing. So these are Lily bags.
Yeah.
And this one.
These are your fancy ones with the leather.
Yeah, handles. These are the fancy ones with the leather handles. Oh. So this first one is yellow, and it's like I think like a quilt pattern. This is called like a orange peel or something like that. I can't remember. And it's like, what is it, like circles, intersecting circles,
overlapping intersecting circles that create diamonds or like stars in the inside,
and petals space and stuff. So this is a upholstery fabric, so it's nice and sturdy, and it's got the leather handles and my elastic yarn pockets. Keeper pockets, and a little small pocket over here for keys or yarn stitch markers. So so all of them have the same kind of pockets. So this is
they're also just really good like travel like day bags, like going out for the day, just like, you know, hand sanitizer in this pocket, tissues in this pocket.
Yeah, exactly. So these I started making because they're not like the cutesy ones were actually I've been starting to use cutesy fabrics that scream, this is my knitting bag. But anyway, so there's that one, and I have one with bespeckled puppies.
Oh.
So this is in the shop as well. It's very cute. And the last one does actually scream, this is my knitting bag, though. But I couldn't resist this fabric. I'm not quite done with it. So it's got...
Oh, that's super cute.
Yeah, it's got like a sewing machine. It's got knitting. It's got little scissors and embroidery stuff.
Loom. It's just like a crafting.
It's like, crafty themed or needlework themed
Yeah,
pattern.
and I just like the color scheme of it.
Yeah, so those are the 3 bags that I finished the last couple weeks, the lily bags. So the shop has been open for a few weeks now, and thank you for all the customers that's come back. And sorry about that. That was your dad coming in. So thank you to all the customers that come back and made purchases. And that's all the shop talk I have.
Cool. All right. Well, will we say goodbye?
Yeah, this is a long episode.
So you can find the show notes for this episode and every episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Instagram, also at kcacypodcast. My personal Instagram is Allison here, and my mom's is upstate _
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. You can subscribe, like, comment, rate, follow, review, all the things on Apple Podcasts, wherever else you listen to podcasts, and also on YouTube. And you can join the Ravelry group if you would like to. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry On podcast on the groups tab. So thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry on. Bye!
Bye!